Climb every mountain, ford every stream, follow every rainbow, till you find your dream, a dream that will need all the love you can give. Every day of your life, for as long as you live, climb every mountain, ford every stream, follow every rainbow, till you find your
Hi, my name is Heather. I have been Joey's guardian angel. Actually, I was assigned to him in May 1946. It was a very hot sunny day back in Irvington that morning. Joey was a true Gemini baby all through his entire lifetime. Some of his adventures and challenges could only be accomplished as a Gemini. I will have to relate Joey's biography to you because he would find it very difficult to tell his story by himself. Even as a very young boy, Joey had a desire to entertain. After seeing a cousin playing the accordion, Joey pestered mom and dad to take lessons. He was just about 8 years old. Joey won first place in a music school contest back in 1956 and a trophy for playing the accordion at many, many parties including his grandmother's bar. He loved the stage. And I remember seeing him watching himself in a mirror and pretending to be in front of an audience or on TV when he practiced. Back in grade 8. At 13 years old, Joey produced the St. Joseph Day Show for Sacred Heart School. Wow! He had a small band that played and the show featured many different acts plus a comedy skit by students. Of course, Joey was the MC of the program which students, nuns and even the pastor and priests enjoyed. After moving to the Jersey Shore, Joey took more lessons on piano and performed in a recital for dance music school. It was the start of something really big. The next day 2 bands called the Starliners and the Teen Tones. Both wanted Joey to join. He went with the Starliners and on New Year's Eve December 1960, they debuted at a smoke-filled venue in Belford, New Jersey, the Meadowview Inn. As I look back at Joey's life, there was a time when he was in grade 6 that he wrote to a missionary priest. It was quite an experience, as the priest came to Joey's house one day, walked up the driveway and introduced himself. Mom was a bit shocked to say the least, but the priest just came to talk with Joey. The missionary said that Joey could still play his music and his accordion and still be a priest. However, as time passed, Joey chose the option to further his music and entertainment career in a different way. As I followed Joey through the early years, I noticed that he had a terrible fear of being drafted to serve in the armed forces. The Vietnam War was on, and soldiers were being massacred every day. Joey, however, was spared being drafted because of a kidney problem. One day, however, Joey saw an army vehicle park in front of his high school friend's house. The officers informed the family that Joey's good friend, Don, was killed in Vietnam, a month before his 21st birthday. That affected Joey tremendously. From that time on, Joey had vowed to remember all veterans with his song. Joey attended Columbia School of Broadcasting to study radio and TV. There he learned to improve his voice with various exercises, and he also learned how to handle news, advertisements, and everything to do with TV and radio announcing. After finally earning a certificate of completion, Joey landed a job with WHTG in Eatontown and WRLB in Long Branch as an announcer, newscaster, and disc jockey.
Good morning, I'm Joe Sudyka. This is Names in the News, a program designed to present people of interest to our listeners. This morning it is indeed an honor and a pleasure to have as my guest Mr. Thomas Goldman, the administrator of the Bayshore Community Hospital in Homedale, and Mr. John Gilvey, the Director of Development and Community Affairs of the Bayshore Community Hospital.
Joey's band, the Gen Trio, also known as the Gens, formed in high school in the 60s, has played all over New Jersey. Joey also performed as a solo musician and entertainer in Florida. In 1975, Joey was the master of ceremonies at the Garden State Arts Center for the Polish festivals for the event, and Joey, being Joey, bought over $200 worth of tickets for good seats for his family and many of his fans. That was Joey.
Ladies and gentlemen, here's Joey.
Best of times is now. What's left of summer but a fading rose. The best of times is now. As for tomorrow, well, who knows? The best of times is now. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, but today, right now. Thank you.
On the road again, I'm going places that I've never been. I see things I might never see again. I've heard to the window, to the window, those were me, to the tubes with me. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I think I do. I think I do. I think I do. Oh, what I do for true me. Meeting. I think I do. I think I do. Good night, Mrs. Calabash, wherever you are. Could you remember? Did that about 6 or 7 months ago, and a waiter walked up to me and said, "Boy, I really like that. Who was that?" I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and for you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Oh yeah. Remember that song? Mr. Showmanship. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Thank you. I'll be seeing you. You like him? You paid for it. Well, we'd like to thank Homestead for being here, rolling into New Year 2003 with you. My name is Joey. And while we're applauding up there, would you give my guys a nice round of applause? Brother Bill on the drums. And the best guitar player in the world, Bachelor Bill on guitar. You know, a lot of times when I came over, Homestead was been a long-time relationship, and everybody comes up and always asks me where I started, how long I've been in the business. Actually, I was 8 years old when I was playing over at a place called Newark at the Mosque Theater. Anybody ever hear that? And I was playing with an all-accordion band. We were on the Ted Mack Amateur Hour when I was about 10 or 11 years old, with a 50-piece accordion band. Do anybody remember Ted Mack? Oh, good. You're almost as old as I am. All right, that's pretty good. And actually, my first paid career, or where I started, was a place called the Meadowview Inn. Bet you never heard of that. Yeah, I know, it's because it's located in Belfort next to a fish factory. And it was on New Year's Eve in 1960 that I actually played with a group called the Starliners. There was a saxophone, guitar, drum, and myself on the accordion at that time because the pianos were in such rough shape. And I'll never forget, we made, I believe I got promised for 5 hours $10 for the night. You remember? We had those days, I'll tell you, $10 for the night, and then we stayed another extra hour, and I think they passed the hat, and we collected $1 or $1.25 each. And the next day, the sax man, who was the leader, was knocking on my door. He says, "Joey, you gotta buy this fake book now of 1,000 songs. It's $16. So I was already in a hole. As I said, we're happy to be here. I'm happy for a lot of things. Number one, my daughter moved out. Those of you who were here last year know exactly what I'm talking about. They moved in, lock, stock, and barrel. My daughter, my son-in-law, and the 2 kids. At that time, one was about 5 years old, the other one was about 8 months old. Oh, man. And they only were going to stay a couple of weeks, and they almost stayed a couple of years. Oh, God, I'll tell you, but you missed the little kids. Do we have any grandparents? You don't want to to move in for a year, though, do you? My little grandson, I related this story, I probably told you, but he was sitting on my lap one day at the house, and I love the kid. He says, they call me Pappy. He says, Pappy, you're getting old. So, I guess it beats the alternative, but I didn't know how to tell that to the kid either. So I, just smiled like this at him, and I didn't know how to take it. But the following week, he was sitting on the other grandfather's lap, and he says, Grandpa, when you going to die? I'm just getting old. The other guy, they say the craziest things, though. I get the biggest kick out of kids in my life. I was teaching a Sunday school class about a month ago, and asking the kids, I says, if I put all my money in the collection basket, will that get me to heaven? And there are about 15 kids in the class. No! I says, well, if I clean the floors and sweep the floors in the church and everything, will I get to heaven? And they said, no, no. I says, well, how can I get to heaven? And one kid raised his hand, he says, you've got to be dead. Question? They keep reminding you about this, you know? It's like the little kid that went into his grandfather. This one worries me. Grandpa, can you make it sound like a frog? Grandfather says, no, why? He says, because Daddy says, when you croak, we're all going to Disney World. I don't know if you ever heard that, but a fellow by the name of Art Linkletter years ago used to have a book, Kids Say the Darndest Things. But really, they are terrific. They made my life more light, more fun, made me smile. And I guess it's God's reward for having children, grandchildren. But in fact, the preacher the other day, we were at a church. Anybody here go to church? Yeah, one or two people back there. My kids don't even go to church, but I go pray for them, I pray for everybody. So I went to church, and the preacher's giving a sermon about, the Hanukkah, Christmas, it's a season of light, forgive your enemies, forgive your enemies. This guy must have talked for like 1 hour on forgiving your enemies. Everybody was sick and tired of listening to him. Finally, he ended his sermon, he says, now, how many people here forgive your enemies? And believe it or not, almost the entire congregation raised their hand. We were sick of listening to the guy, except one guy in the front row didn't raise his hand. So the preacher walked up to him. He says, come here. Called the guy up. He says, you didn't raise your hand. He says, you don't forgive your enemies? He said, no. He says, how old are you? He says, I'm 102. He says, you're 102. And he says, why don't you forgive your enemies? He said, I don't have any. I outlived the bastards. A lot of familiar faces. How many of you have seen me before, out of curiosity?
I think a few.
How many of you see me for the first time? Anybody? Oh. And how many of you don't care if you ever see me again? I figured that hand would go into New Orleans, in the land of those dreams, way down yonder in New Orleans. I brought my keyboard, so. To see me work. Served in our armed forces, the reason that this country is here, that this place is here. Thank you to our veterans. Say a little prayer for those that are here, those that are serving, for those that came back wounded, and also those that sacrificed their lives.
Be a clown, all the world loves a clown. Show 'em tricks, tell 'em jokes, and you'll only stop the top folks. Dress in huge baggy pants, and you'll ride the road to romance.
A butcher or a baker, ladies never embrace.
A barber for a ball would be a social disgrace.
They all will come to call if you can fall on your face.
Be a clown, be a clown, be a clown. Be a clown, be a clown. All the world loves a clown.
Be a crazy buffoon,
And the demoiselles will all swoon. Be a crack jackanapes, and they'll imitate you like apes.
why be a great composer with your rent in arrears?
Why be a major poet and you'll owe it for years?
When crowds will pay to giggle if you wiggle your ears.
Be a clown, be a clown, be a clown. Be a clown, be a clown. All the world loves a clown.
Be the poor city ass,
And you'll always crowd the first class.
but Jack, you'll never lack if you can quack like a duck.
Be a clown, be a clown, be a clown. Be a clown, be a clown, be a clown.
Hello, I'm Mr. Jacksonhead. And this is Brooke. Hello, Brooke. Hello, I'm Mr. Jacksonhead.
Mexican song. Pocahontas Chaos style. Hey, 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 roll out the barrel.
I told you.
Joey always had a place in his heart for God's special children. He loved those less fortunate and disabled kids, and just to see them smiling, dancing, and enjoying themselves as Joey entertained made his heart swell. The Bell AT&T Special Olympics party in South Jersey, and especially his Royal Palm School shows in Lantana, Florida, were events that Joey loved and looked forward to each year.
Smile,
though your heart is aching, smile, even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you'll get by if you smile. Through your fear and sorrow, smile, and maybe tomorrow you'll see the sun come shining through for you. Light up your face with gladness, hide every trace of sadness, although a tear may be ever so near. That's the time you must keep on trying, smile. What's the use of crying? You'll find that life is still worthwhile if you just smile.
Though your heart is aching, smile even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you'll get by.
If you smile through your fear and sorrow, smile, and maybe tomorrow you'll see the sun come shining through for you. Light up your face with gladness,
Smile,
hide every trace of sadness, although a tear may be ever so near. That's the time you must keep on trying, smile. What's the use of crying? You'll find that life is still worthwhile if you just smile.
you'll find that life's worthwhile
if you just smile.
In these moments of our lives, all the world is ours, and this world is so bright. You and I sharing this time together, sharing the same dream. As time goes by, these are the sweetest times, these times together. And through it all, one thing will always be true. The special times, all the times I share with you.
today goodbye. The sweetness and the sorrow. We did what we had to do, and I won't regret what I did for love. What I did for love. Look, my eyes are dry. The dream was mine to borrow. It's as if we always knew, but I won't regret what I did for love. What I did for love. Kiss today goodbye.
Thank you. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. This has all been so exciting, and I want to thank all of you. There's no business like show business, like no business I know. Everything about it is appealing, everything the traffic will allow. Nowhere could you get that happy feeling when you are stealing that extra bow. There's no people like show people, they smile when they are low. Yesterday they told you you would not go far. That night you open and there you are. Next day on your dressing room they've hung a star. Let's go on with the show. The costumes, the scenery, the makeup, the props, the audience that lifts you when you're down. The headaches, the heartaches, the backaches, the flops, the sheriff who escorts you out of town. The opening when your heart beats like a drum. The closing when the customers don't come. There's no business like show business, like no business I know. You get word before the show has started that your favorite uncle died at dawn. On top of that, your pa and ma have parted. You're broken hearted, but you go on. There's no people like show people. They smile when they are low. Even with a turkey that you know has foaled, you may be stranded out in the cold, but still you wouldn't change it for a sack of gold. Let's go on with the show. Let's go on with the show. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Good night.
Something else that captured Joey's heart from the very first moment was a beautiful face. It was like a switch that went off in his brain and could not be turned off. Janet was a dream that Joey thought could never be. In fact, Joey's song, Sunshine, Roses and You, written in 1975, tells the whole story. But I knew that Joey fell so hard for Janet that he would somehow work things out, no matter how difficult or uncomfortable. You would have to know Joey as well as I did, in order to know that he could not lie or pretend, even though the truth is painful at times. He hurt for a long time. I watched as he struggled for forgiveness and prayed. Boy, was I amazed to see how things finally did work out for Joey and Janet. This woman would be an important part of Joey's life and also a major factor in the success of his career. More than just a beautiful face, was Janet's love and caring for him and all the family. In Joey's eyes, there was not another woman anywhere who could be anything even close to Janet. She sacrificed everything and was a very special blessing in Joey's life.
Once upon a time, a girl with moonlight in her eyes put her hand in mine and said she loved me so. But that was once upon a time, very long ago.
Together with Janet's beautiful children, Freddie and Lisa, who were very young, they all grew as a loving family. Their shared love was because the entire family trusted in God. It was not easy, but Joey's faith in the Blessed Mother and the miraculous medal he found was his strength. Janet also beside him was the ultimate power Joey really needed. Freddie and Lisa both became a huge success in life. 5 grandchildren, Kevin, Jennifer, Stephen, Alexa and Brian, all called Joey Pappy. It was a very special name that Joey loved. Each of the kids all had a song written for them. Picture a Miracle, for Kevin, Jennifer's Lullaby was Jenny's, Stephen Thomas, Here I Am, Alexa, My Little Sweetheart, and for Brian, Labor Day Baby.
When you wish upon a star, as dreamers do. Like a boat out of the blue, fate steps in and sees you through. When you wish upon a star, your dreams come true.
I'm nothing special, in fact, I'm a bit of a bore. When I tell a joke, you've probably heard it before. But I have a talent, a wonderful thing, 'cause everyone listens when I start to sing. I'm so grateful and proud. All I want is to sing it out loud. So I say thank you for the music, the songs I'm singing. Thanks for all the joy they're bringing. Who can live without it? I ask in all honesty. What would life be